Welcome back to Chaos Corner. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this, coming to you live to tape from 20 feet below the surface of the earth. I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. I'm here to preview and review Night 9, Round 1, leading into this Saturday night, July 17th, into Night 10. So fans, sit back and relax. Thank you for all the well wishes. I want to thank everyone for all the gifts that you sent me and the different things to help me out and all the issues that I'm going through currently because of one Pinocchio Joe. And Joe, this Saturday night live, you and I go at it for a fourth time, an unprecedented history-making matchup. And yeah, I still have another week to prepare and I'll be ready. But we're not here to talk about that. I want you fans to follow me on all social media platforms. And you know that's Twitter and Twitch and Instagram. And of course, my buddy over on Facebook, Jay Brony. You're not going to want to miss it. If you hit the profile link on Twitter, which is at Big Daddy GOC, and the GOC stands for the Guardian of Chaos, that will knock you over to here, the Guardian of Chaos YouTube channel. So sit back, WWAB family, WWAB Podcast Nation, because I'm going to bring you an unbelievable review and preview. Again, let's talk about Night 9, Round 1. Do we want to lower the music yet? Because I don't think we do. It was an unbelievable night last night with thousands upon thousands of you, the fans that were watching. And thank you for pouring in all the comments and the votes because, as I always said, your live votes matter. And let me say that again. All your live votes matter. That's coming from the GOC. And again, thank you for your well wishes and support. Stand by, stay tuned over there on all the other social media platforms. We are bouncing over to YouTube and Facebook. I'll get this up today, so don't you dare miss it. All right, fans, welcome back to YouTube and Facebook. Let me lower the distraction. It's Sunday. It's a day of relaxation. We're kicking back. Maybe get yourself a little breakfast, maybe a little early lunch, a brunch. Yeah, you can see that I'm still unshaven. I'm still looking a little worse for the wear, but I am prepared and I will be prepared. Night 10 is right around the corner. Last night's show, The Green Room, Night 9, Round 1, was a sight to behold. We started off, and I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of what happened on the Green Room. Jay Brony reports it to me. I see it for myself. I take everything and screenshot it and see what's all being said, who votes what, who does what, and who says what, because I have to have it for my analytics and my research to see what's going on. I'm not sure if that was a different noise. I moved too fast like that. This still was a crime scene. I know everybody remembers that this was a crime scene back on night 5. But let's get on the task at hand. Let's forge on. I'm going to try to keep this at about a half an hour. Stay till the end. I'm a little cantankerous. I'm a little ornery here on Sunday. So Pete from Sharpie, the national sponsor, starts off Night 9, Round 1 of Ami Klein's 64-person single elimination bracket-style tournament to determine who will host the Green Room. So I'm going to give you, again, all the news and notes. So Pete opens up, and we'll do the same thing here like I did on previous shows, whether it be Chaos Corner show number 47 or whether it be on the last review and preview show for the Wrestling with Anything But podcast network for Unmasking the Truth and One Patriot Del Wilkes. Pete gave a moment of silence for all the fans and all the WWAB family and universe, and we'll do that now, as Pete did on last night's show for the Green Room. So fans, a moment of silence, please. For One Patriot Del Wilkes, you will be sorely missed. A salt of the earth human being. Again, I didn't know Del that well. We've had minor exchanges, but the impact that Del Wilkes had in life and on people and on the WWAB podcast network, and especially folks like Pastor Andy McDaniel and Avi Klein and David Holliday, the depths of what and all his brethren on the podcast of 7 days a week and the outpouring for Del Wilkes. Really, fans, let's not lose focus and sight of what really is important. So that's how we started off night 9. That's how we'll start off here. And then Pete goes on to also say something that I thought was very classy and a nice touch, because it was a sore spot with Del, and it was an ongoing joke. So this was great to bring some levity back to it. And the Beatles will no longer be mentioned on the WWAB podcast network, an honor and tribute and salute to Del Wilkes. And as we've constantly said, let me see if I can adjust the camera here. As we've constantly said, the show Unmasking the Truth will go on every Sunday night at 8 p.m. and it'll be with Avi Klein and David Holliday and Pastor Andy McDaniel. So Del Wilkes will be here with everyone on the WWAB forever. What an impact, salt of the earth human being. So with those different things that Peter put out there and conferred with Avi and the powers that be, very classy from the WWAB and the Green Room, and of course Avi and Pete themselves. Pete goes on to review a night 9 and then preview a night 8, review night 8 and go on and preview night 9, breaking down the different things that'll happen. We'll do that later. We'll bounce back and try to see if we can keep track of all the different people and series, who's advanced, who hasn't, who's tied, who's an elimination, who's a debut. We're going to get that, and that's what you would get if I was the Green Room host. This is what you get. Unscripted, raw, unique, one man, no editing. This is what you get when you get the Guardian of Chaos. But again, I'm here to give you the rub to put you over, because I'm a team player. That's what you have to be. You have to give back and honor those that allow you to work with them. It's like in pro wrestling, that you have to trust them with your body, with your soul, with your energy, your charisma. You know what I'm talking about. Very, very important. Again, I've alluded to this. Avi Klein does the videos, the montages, the intros, the outros, the trailers, the short films, whatever you want to call them. Avi does an unbelievable tribute. The open intro video is unbelievable, and the different things that I put, and I know I keep saying unbelievable, but the word keeps coming up and is apropos. And the different things that he's put together and how individualistic they are towards each competitor or each situation or each matchup. Again, that puts a lot of work and effort into it. I'm not blowing smoke. I'm telling it like it is. If you don't like it, change the channel. So after the open intro video, which explains what the Green Room is. Listen, this tournament started on May 8th, 2021. That's when this tournament started, the 64-person elimination tournament, and the Great Reset and Pete from Sharpie. And we know that the Green Room itself started on September 12th of 2020. So this is, I want to break down, if you haven't seen those intro videos, that will tell you what the show's all about and who's involved and who's going to be host of the Green Room, and the people that have appeared through the Green Room. Over 250 people have walked through the Green Room so far, and we're going to get onto that list. So that open video explains everything that you, the fans, need to know. And again, all your live votes matter. So the opening intro, it's what, 7 to 9 minutes, and it really is well put together. It should be awarded for a film festival. And I've seen other people, I've seen you in the comments make that. And, the people that are in the comment section, I'll throw a few names out there. Maybe I won't, but you know who you are, the regulars, the locals that are on there that watch the show. It's unbelievable, including the new viewers, the impact that we have. And that video, again, referring to, it's a cross between Days of Our Lives and SNL. And I know I keep making those references because that's what it is. I even say General Hospital on SCTV because that's a little running joke of how you compare what this is really all about and the entertainment value. It's the hottest, fastest growing, rising movement in the entertainment industry on this platform. 7 days a week live, an hour and a half to 2.5 hours a day on this platform. I don't know anyone else that does that. over 400 to almost 500 different shows without an interruption, averaging damn near 1.5 million different viewers per show. And I guess, and I overstated it in the last review, I guess damn near just about 4 million viewers in a year, because the year anniversary just came up. So those are the things. So Avi comes onto the show. We're 10 minutes in here. Avi pops on to night 9, and he is trendy, fine, Klein. But you can see he's a little emotional. He's a little worse for wear. No offense, Avi. Went through a lot. The WWAB network and family and friends have gone through a lot, and especially Del Wilkes' family. So Avi comes up with an unbelievable, he talks about Del Wilkes and what he's meant to him, and he comes out with an unbelievable poem. Not only is Avi the screenwriter, the man that's spinning it all, the producer, an actor, a performer, whatever it is, the contact, the liaison, whatever it is, he's also putting together all these different things as an artist and poems, and he put out an unbelievable tribute. Go back and listen to it, and that's the great thing on being on Facebook Live and on Twitch. You can go back and get every one of these episodes and watch every one of them and see how it's progressed. So an unbelievable poem. Again, there's the word again. There's no one here today to correct me. So here's the word again. I'll say it. Avi Klein, unbelievable tribute to the Patriot Del Wilkes. We go on to the first match of the night. Night 9, round 1. And it happens to be R.G. James, as I call him, James from Right Guard, the former national sponsor and former competitor, has been eliminated from this tournament before, but was saved by Pete, brought back as a judge originally to come back in as a judge, and then went to a competitor. And now it's been the bomb has been dropped from the last night of when Howard and James. Now, Howard's up 1-0. I don't have to sell you on Howard Collado. He's tried to go up against different opponents. People have backed out, left, disappeared. I don't know why. Collado is one of the Green Room originals and a 5-tool player. It could be comedy. It could be improv. It could be music. It could be being the straight guy. It could be being the third party. It could be an extra. It could be the main character cast. Howard Collado steps up to the plate, whether it's promos, vignettes, performances. Very underrated, and he did get screwed and almost had the Green Room within his grasp, just like Hats Holiday, who's now, walking around on a high in the clouds, up in the moon. The winner's circle will debut. You're going to see that. He's on to round 2, and he beat his old buddy, Jamie Sparling. I get it, Holiday. We'll get on to that. So Howard and James is the first bout to open up night 9. And again, Howard's up 1-0. He swept the last time. Both challenges, all 3 challenges, Howard actually kicked James's ass. He had no chance, James. Howard came out, boom, boom, boom. One with the fans, one with Pete, one with Avi, and James was persona non grata after that. So it's up 1-0, and here we go. The first challenge that Avi pulls out of the hat is the improv. It's the rich man, poor man game. Okay, so here, let me see. Again, I'm not going to quote it verbatim, word for word. You get the gist, watch the show. I'm here to break it down in layman's terms for you, the fans. Well, and for me, too. Listen, these notes get to me awfully quick from Jay Brony. You have to give him a lot of credit. And then I go back and research and highlight, because I'm always scouting. I'm always watching, because you never know what could happen in the Green Room. I keep saying that. The twists and turns as the world turns. You could throw that in there. You never know what's going to happen, because everybody wants to be in the Green Room. You know that, and I know that you're watching. So we get on to the rich man, poor man game. Let me get down to what James has to do. James has to be Howard, okay? And he gets news that his significant other broke up with him, and he's on his knees. Now, this is James playing Howard on his knees as his significant other, he just gets the news, broke up with him. Boy, did you look like a sorry sap, James. Can I say that? You look like a sad sack, and Ivy even got you to get on your knees for the performance. I'll give you credit. You were dedicated to the scene. But James, I don't know about that scene. I'll have to tell you. In turn, now remember, now Pete is in not only as a judge, he's been in the contest before. He was a part of this. He's an all-around guy, too. He actually comes in and plays the judge or the role player in whatever scene that Ivy happens to create. So Howard now is playing James. So first we have James trying to be Howard. Now we have Howard trying to be RG. He's attending a board meeting and he's stuttering while talking, and he has to sell the Pinky Peach Fuzz underwear to the executive Pete from Sharpie. Now let me say that again. Howard has to portray right guard James or RG James or just James as someone who's attending a board meeting, and when he speaks, he's stuttering and he's trying to sell this product, the Pinky Peach Fuzz Under Armour. Where the hell did that come from? What were you doing when you thought about that? Hey, listen, don't judge the pink and feathered and maroon boas. That's a part of, it's a part of me. But Pink Peach Fuzzy? Well, let's get on from that. I don't even know if Pete, who was playing the executive, knew what the hell was going on. But let's move on. Let's get on to the task at hand. Let's forge on. James and Howard, again, Howard's up 1-0. Let's go to the next challenge of the improv. Now, Howard, once again, Avi is trying to play games here, subliminal messages, whatever he's trying to do. Flip, flop, flop, flip, yin, yang, vice versa, vice. That's what he's trying to do here. Getting in everybody's head, Avi Klein. I see what you're doing, Avi. You're trying to test people. I give you a lot of credit. It's working. So here's the next improv. Howard is playing James, and he's got a flat tire, and he's refusing to fix it, and he's speaking gibberish whenever he gets mad. Now, Pete is playing a trucker that's trying to help. Envision this. Howard's over on the side of the road, but it's actually not Howard, it's James. He's got a flat tire. He doesn't want to fix it, and he's speaking gibberish, and every time, the more he speaks, he gets mad. So picture someone that's speaking gibberish and that gets mad, and all Pete is doing, he's portraying a trucker that's trying to help. Pretty scary stuff there. And I will say that Howard and the gibberish, I don't know if it worked for me, Howard. And I don't know who came up with this stuff, but I'll say that to say this. Let's go on to R.G. James's improv. He's playing Howard. Pete is portraying a trainer, a pugilist trainer. Speaking of that, if everyone saw Dustin Poirier knock Conor McGregor on his ass last night, and then McGregor fell back and actually broke his ankle and his leg. Got to respect these guys, especially Conor McGregor. That was the trilogy. So just, because we're speaking about trainers and pugilists, but if you watched the UFC last night, McGregor lost in the third match, the trilogy, if you will, to Dustin Poirier. Gruesome video, the broken leg. You're going to have to check it out. He took a step back, snap, crackle, pop. There it goes, and that reminds me of this matchup. So Pete's playing the trainer. RG's playing Howard. Again, James is playing Howard. He's in kickboxing class. Both his arms are completely numb, and he has to be talking about David Holiday. So I'll run it down again. He's in a kickboxing class portraying James while he's talking to David, but both his arms are completely numb. Now, again, fans, I'm just reporting what I saw and what was reported to me. I don't know what this means. So we move on to the next challenge. And again, I will say one thing. James for not being an actor, and Howard for being someone who's a thespian, so to speak, and who's been in theater, and James, I guess, has dabbled in it. Both these men sold and portrayed their actors and their scene and their storylines. I'll give them credit. It wasn't 100%. No. I'm here to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm just giving you my observations. This is my opinion. So we go on to, let's go on to the votes for the different improv challenge. Pete votes for James. Avi votes for Howard. Okay, and now whatever's going on between Avi and Pete over these last couple of weeks, I don't know what's going on. It's like the fix is in, they're against each other, they're with each other, good cop, bad cop, a lot of stammering, yammering, being giddy, nervousness, anxiety, and now the fans vote. And Avi, once again, is over the top, and I don't understand how to explain it, and the only word I can say is hamana, hamana, hamana. Jackie Gleason, Norton and the Honeymooners, I mean, he's really beside himself going back and forth with Pete. The fans ended up voting for James. And Avi's trying to influence him and go back and forth and persuade him, thinking they're on the same page. Hey, we had this conversation. Didn't we talk about this before the show came on? I thought we had an understanding, Pete. But no, it's not that. And now James goes up 1-0. We go on to the next challenge, and it's called the I Sentence You game. That's right, I Sentence You. Now, here we go. Howard's one up in the series. James is up 1-0 in night 9. I Sentence You game. Howard, it's 2 sentences, okay? In 2 sentences, you have to use these words. Cowabunga, chocolate milk, and fungus, while talking about the circus, or that you're in the circus, that you're a carny yourself, and that fits Howard Collado. So here's the 3 words, and you have to use them in I Sentence You game. Cowabunga, chocolate milk, and fungus. I don't know where Avi pulls up this stuff. So he does it through this 2 sentences, and Howard knocks it out of the box. Beautiful, rolls with it and gets it all in there. And in turn, Pete is this person that you're playing this off. Pete is involved in these different scenes. So I want you to keep that in mind. He's role-playing, and you role-play off of Pete. So now here's James. James has to use, again, the I Sentence You game in a 2 sentence using these words. Toilet, Goosebumps, and Jerry Seinfeld while skydiving. So see, that's the caveat. Howard had to use those words while he was in the circus, and now James has to use these words while he's skydiving. So I'll give them to you again. Toilet, Goosebumps, and Jerry Seinfeld. And again, Pete is the guy you're playing off of, and he's the role player in this. He's doing a great job. But Pete, really, are you a part of these words and these different games that are coming up with? Because they're really out there. And I think Jay Brony said it best last night in the chat. It's like being in the haze without the purple. I have amnesia and deja vu at the same time. I think I've forgotten this before. I'm just saying. So we go to the votes. Well, again, Avi's trying to coax, okay? He's really trying to coax Pete. I don't know what's going on. He may be sending private messages, inboxing, in the chat room, text messages. That seems to be the gist that's coming across the camera. So we go to the votes. Avi, right out of the box, is voting for Howard Collado. I'm a little surprised about that, to be quite honest with you. Pete, in turn, votes for James, and we go to the fans again. The votes are coming in. It's Howard, James, James, Howard. Most people are voting Howard, Howard, Howard. I don't know what's being missed. I don't know what's going on. It was screenshotted and sent it to me out of the, I don't know, 30, 40 votes, maybe as much as 50. I would have to say 90% of them were for Howard Collado. So if you go by the fans' votes, and that's why we've had voting issues before, and I'll bring me into it, whether it be back in my second matchup against Pinocchio Joe, the first matchup, the votes were in. I was voted in by the fans. I should have been advanced into the second round already, and this is what happened again last night. I believe it happened to Rich Masadi once before, who has already advanced to the second round due to his upset victory over Duke the Dumpster Drosy. The same thing was alleged then and submitted. I think it's been like 3 times, and now here it is again. Clearly, the fans were voting for Howard. That's what I saw. That's what was screenshot. That's what was reported to me. So in turn, James wins. Pete overrules what was going on as the national sponsor. I guess he has that power and authority. So he overruled, and James wins, and he's up 2-0. And then Avi's going literally bonkers, berserk. Again, Pete's calm, cool, collective. And the bottom line is, James tied it up, and now it's tied 1-1 when clearly Howard should have at least tied it up for this night, gone to a deadline, gone to an overtime, gone to something, because Howard clearly should have won. I don't know what Pete's up to. There's a lot of things going on in the green room. That's why you have to tune in, because you never know what's going to happen. So now it's tied 1-1. A lot of things going on with the voting and the judges. It's supposed to be impartial, whether you bring in James, who seems to play the game, and now Pete has been obvious towards certain things. We know where Avi stands with David Holliday, the Mr. Main Event. The guy now who has his own show and is on every other show. Hey, I'm just calling it like I see it. I got nothing but love for you, bro. But I am going to tell it like it is. So that's what happens there. It's unbelievable. It's tied 1-1 now. So let's move on from that fiasco. We go on to now Avi, Pete, and James. Who's also a judge in this. We know that competitor, judge, national sponsor. There's Vegas, the convention, Pete. Something. It'll come out someday. You know it will. I'll make sure of it. So we get an update. They're on screen. We just coming off of that bout there. James is all happy and giddy. He finally won something. And so now it's 1-1 with him and Green Room original Howard Collado, who seems to get the short end of the stick a lot, taking that long walk off the proverbial short pier, if you know what I'm talking about. So let's move on. James is reversing his earlier decision. He's come up with something that since he's been brought back on board, he's had this crack team of investigators researching and going through everything with a fine-tooth comb, kind of like the IRS or something to that effect. And he's really doing his research in his homework. And he comes up with something out of the blue. He starts talking about the murder hornet, Eric Heron, and B. Brian Blair, the president of the Cauliflower Alley Club, a Hall of Famer, the Killer Bees, a buzz. I haven't been able to do this in a while. I've been dying. I don't think it hurts that much. Pain level's about a 3 to a 5 right now. I'm having a good day. That's why I'm here. A buzz. A buzz. So we know all about B. Brian Blair. But this is what's going on, and James came in to upset the apple cart. Now we know that Eric and B. Brian Blair at one time were deadlocked even though they met. It was square one-on-one. Nobody won. It was deadlocked even going into their second match. And in the second matchup, Brian Blair beat Eric Heron. So Brian was up 1-0 going into this matchup, or the next time they were scheduled. So this jumped in out of nowhere. And again, there's always breaking and trending news on the Green Room and at the WWAB Podcast Network. And especially with what's going on with Pete, Avi, James. I don't know the connection, but the bottom line is they announced and went through the notes and the research and some of the different results, and Eric has been eliminated. Brian sweeps 2-0. That's it. There's no tie. There's no anything. The rules have been, I don't know, doctored, changed. Is it true? Is it not true? They're the judge. They're the crack judge and jury in this. I don't know what to say. I hope Eric is putting up a struggle. I know that in the chat room, according to Jay, he was one mad hombre, Eric Heron. The lone wolf, as I like to call him. And if I were you, James, I think I'd have a couple people surrounding me above helicopters following me, something, because the murder hornet is no one to be trifled with. So now the murder hornet, Eric Heron, served this country, saving lives, is booted, is out because of James. I don't know why Pete and Avi went with this, but they did. And so you see Eric, they go to, I don't know if it was live or what was going on, but you see Eric out in the backwoods in a beautiful trailer, like a survival type area, and he's on the internet and he's watching live or like backstage watching what's going on, and he is pissed. And let me tell you something, he was beside himself. He was like, what? He gets up and he bolts out of wherever he was on his survival of the fittest tour guide or whatever he was doing as a man no one to be trifled with. And he said, James, for doing this for no apparent reason, there's going to be some trouble. There's going to be some retribution. There's going to be hell to pay. Remember his background, what he does, no matter what you want to say, you have to respect that. Love him, hate him, loathe him, like him. He still is the murder hornet. And unbelievable, B. Brian Blair goes on to the second round, and out of nowhere, the murder hornet is gone. We'll see what happens there. We go on, and again, Pete and James are on screen, and they're talking about the mystery and entrance and the mystery guests. This was supposed to be another mystery night, and you know that whenever there's a mystery night on the green room, you never know who's going to show up. There's been so many famous people. I don't have to keep beating you over the head with name dropping. You know who they are if you watch, and if you don't, go back and watch these shows. Go back to the WWAP Podcast Network. Follow all the hosts. Follow Avi Klein, and specifically, and you can see every one of these shows free and find out what's going on. So they're talking about mystery and entrance, and we bring up Preston Present and Just Sammy. It's me, not Sammy Green, not Sammy Doyle, God forbid. When it's out there, it's public information. It's no secret. You can find it anywhere. Just Sammy takes on that creep, the time traveler, if you will, Preston Present, Mr. Svengale. That's the way I see it, a little suave de bonheur, Preston Present, always with the making of the sexist remarks, and he's rambling on and on and on and on. Now, Avi's nowhere to be found. Pete and James have taken over. Who knows what Avi's doing backstage with the mystery opponents, the mystery guests, setting up interviews. Who knows what he's doing back there? So he leaves it in the hands of Pete and James. The first challenge is a debate challenge. But before you can get into the challenge, Preston Present is all over the place with his comments. He's speaking English, gibberish, Swahili, Jamaican, then who the heck knows what he's talking about? Maybe he's talking in tongues. I don't know. But he certainly is very colorful, flamboyant, if you will, if you know what I mean. I don't want to make any suggestive remarks here on Chaos Corner. But he really won't let it go, and I'll give Sammy credit for keeping her composure, at least up to that point. So we go on to the debate challenge, but out of nowhere, there's a video that all of a sudden comes across the screen during the green room. Before that, Sammy had gotten a phone call. Now, how unprofessional was that? I'm not here to judge anyone, but you can't take calls on the air unless you don't think you're on the air. I'll give you credit for that. She's dressed up like she's at a carnival and maybe one of the entertainers. I mean, it was kind of surreal. And I don't like to use that word, the carnival circus atmosphere that Sammy was in. I mean, it was like a David Lee Roth video from back in I Want My MTV in the 80s, if you know what I'm talking about. So that right there, Sammy's talking on the phone, interrupted. The green room goes silent, including Pete and James. Dead air. I don't like that. And she gets like a call from her attorney. Something was mentioned to her attorney or something to that effect before you can even get onto the debate challenge. And then this video is shown where you see a little kid and with a female, and very confusing. You know the past and the background that allegedly Sammy has with Maria and Maria's feud with Miranda. I don't know where this all fits in as an outsider looking in. I'm just giving you what I reported and what I saw on the video and what was reported to me. And then Sammy runs off out of nowhere. But for what? To get someone's child, to turn it over, to answer to the authorities, to just flee? She's walking off. Who knows what happened with Sammy? So in turn, Pete and James have no choice, and this clown, I'm going to say it, Preston Present moves on, or at least ties it up 1-1. Who knows where Sammy is? And of course, with the people she's associated with, that they're trying to hide and cover up, you never know what could happen. But Sammy exit stage left, and it's now tied 1-1 in the best of three. And you're going to have to put up with Preston Present once again. So it was called. Pete and James, they make the decisions. They're binding. It stands as it is. So let's move on. And night nine on the mystery entrance. So that's where Avi was, just as I called it, just as I saw it. I knew what I was talking about. He's backstage trying to get the mystery entrant. Now, it's a huge star from TV and film, about ready to come on. Hollywood household name. I can't wait. It's in anticipation. It's like a Heinz ketchup bottle as you're trying to get the ketchup out. Anticipation. And you're hitting the top of it. Anticipation isn't making me wait. It's keeping me waiting. That's what we're doing, is we're waiting for the mystery guest. But out of nowhere, I don't know if it's sabotage. I don't know if it's intent. I don't know what's going on with the people behind the scenes and the people that watch, because you know there's a lot of haters out there. You know that everything's hacked all over this country from foreign countries and everything that's going on. So that might have happened. Avi is back on, and he refers to, here's the only clue we got before it's cut off, cut out. After listening to Pete and James banter, finally, Avi goes back to March of 1946. Remember that, March of 1946, as a clue to the next mystery guest that's coming up from TV and film. Huge star. And then bang, technical difficulties. The screen goes wobbly. I don't know what happened, if it was sabotage, if the FCC, something's happening, something's going on nowhere, whether it's being hacked, and the mystery contestant, the mystery competitor, and Avi's huge conversation that we were looking for is cut off, and it doesn't happen. But again, Avi knows how to get the seamless transition, and when you work for Lionsgate for 15 years and you know what you're doing, you get and work on the fly, ad lib, organic, and you get that seamless transition if you're a professional. And again, he does it every single time when it comes to being live. You can't take that away. It's unbelievable. So we move on. That's what you do when you make the seamless transition. And Avi is no longer what he was at the beginning. And what was his name at the beginning? Don't make me look back at it. I should know this offhand. Trendy Fine Klein at this point is persona non grata. And we come up with our new guy here. Who's the new man in town? Let me see if I can get that. I want to make sure that I get the notes straight here, because you know how I am with the notes. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it the right way, and that's just the way that it has to be. And if you can't stand here and tolerate that, well, then I'll have to say that you're persona non grata. So Avi changes, and he is now Hero the Clown. Check it out. Not Hero the Clown. Avi is now Hero the Clown. These are the things that you have to pick up, and that I noticed with my background and what I do. Attention to detail, and nothing gets by you. That's how you survive in this world, and I hope you're paying attention, Pinocchio Joe. I really hope you're paying attention to what I pick up that you don't. So we transition to Hero the Clown, and now Avi and David, Hero the Clown, correct. Avi and David are on screen, and they're talking about the debut show of the Winner's Circle, and David Holliday, one of the Green Room originals, is the host. You know he's advanced to the second round. You know he knocked out Jamie Sparling in this competition. So Avi and David are talking about the Winner's Circle. You know they're all happy and giddy about it. With that being said, before they get on to the Winner's Circle, because of the close connection of these gentlemen, and with, as I alluded earlier, and we'll get back to having this be kind of a shoot along with the show, they talk about Del Wilkes again, and Avi makes an announcement, because you know that Avi was extremely close to Del over these last couple of years, and Andy, a lifelong friend, and David and Del have recently broke bread, and they were supposed to visit each other the day before Del passed. So it's all intertwined. It's all emotional, and great guys, salt of the human people, salt of the earth human beings is what I meant. So they talk about Del Wilkes, and they talk about, because Del must have spoken about this to Avi prior to the to what happened with Del and Del's passing, that he wanted Andy to move on. So in his honor, not only is Sunday Nights Unmasking the Truth going to continue with Pastor Andy McDaniel and Avi Klein and David Holliday, Andy has moved on to the second round as Del's wish. So a class till the end, and even when he's no longer with us, but he'll always be with us. So very, very important. And so Pastor Andy McDaniel has moved on to the second round in honor of Del Wilkes. And then what comes after that, before we get into the Winner's Circle, put together by Avi, is a part one of the greatest hits of Del Wilkes on the Green Room and on the WWAB podcast network, especially on Unmasking the Truth. The video brought tears to people's eyes and smiles to their face, and that's all you can ask for, the genuineness and how humble, and just a tribute to such a great man, whether you knew him for a second or you knew him for 30 years. So that video, the greatest hits, if you will, of Del Wilkes Part 1, was something to behold, and worth watching this show and what's going on Sunday nights. Worth it alone. just in honor of who that man was and what he meant to everyone. So that really was tremendous. And then Avi also, after the video comes on, this is a night of huge surprises, announcements, tributes, memories, and again, twists and turns, as I always say. So Avi makes another announcement, a night of announcements here on night 9. And he's with Pete and James, the two judges. And he explains it this way, and I think I got it right, maybe word for word. 4 people will come back after round 1. Pete, James, and Avi will each pick and bring back one person. The 4th person that gets picked goes to a draw out of the hat, and that's going to be next week. And that's going to be inserted back into round 1. These people that will be picked will be inserted back into the tournament. These are the saves that Avi's been talking about. So let me say it again so you understand. Avi, Pete, James make the announcement. 4 competitors will come back after round 1. Pete, James, and Avi, as I said, each bring back one contestant of their choice. The 4th pick is going to go to a draw out of the hat. You know, Avi is always drawing something and pulling something out of his hat. You never know what it could be. So with that being said, and that's going to be, and next week, a couple of these picks will be inserted back into, whether it be an elimination matchup, a one and done, back into round 1. And think of the different people that could be brought back. Hey, maybe Pretty Paul Roma from Maintaining the Truth on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Maybe Evan Ginsberg, the well-known producer and author, a filmmaker of The Wrestler and 350 Days. Maybe it's award-winning actress Diane Franklin. I mean, there's several people. I can go through the list of people that could be brought back. This could be interesting. So those are the rules and huge announcement that Avi comes up with. We're 40 minutes in here on Chaos Corner. The a preview review, and we're going to go with the review of night 9, round 1. We just come off these huge announcements. So let's forge ahead. And we go on to, again, Avi, Pete, and James are on screen. And we go to the 3rd matchup of the night, and that would be, and they bring him on screen, Hauser Odolak, the enigma that I'm always talking about. And if you get the name, I want somebody to write down and do a jumble of Hauser Odolak. Do that. Somebody do me a jumble of Hauser Odolak. Spell it right ways, up ways, down ways, backwards, frontwards, however you want to. And then leave it in the comment. Share this. Make a comment. Ask a question. Repost it. I want to know what your thoughts are. So we go on to the 3rd matchup, and it's Hauser Odolak. I don't even know how he's still in this competition. The enigma, as I said that I call him. Now he's a nervous wreck. He looks like he's full of anxiety. He's ready to have a nervous breakdown. Is there a psychologist in the green room? I mean, I don't know, but he's kind of weird, a geek, a freak, a dweeb. I've said it before. No offense to anyone, so don't take it offense. Don't come at me. So we're wondering what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, Hauser Odolak, while James and Avi and Pete are on screen, it's like he had a breakdown, and then he's off screen. There's more people coming on and off screen, and exit stage, exit right, up, down, than you can imagine. They're faster than a jackrabbit on a hot date. I don't understand what's going on. So exit stage left for Hauser. In turn, here we go again with the judges, and the rules are always changing. That's why if you miss one episode of The Green Room or one segment, you're lost. You got to pay attention. So RG says, now he comes back. I don't know if he was scared of this next guy or this person I'm going to talk about, or if there was a deal made or somebody reached out to someone. Who knows what could happen? Blackmail, threats, I don't know. Speculation, rumor, and innuendo. But all of a sudden, RG, our good old buddy James, says Eric Heron, the lone wolf, the murder hornet, who basically, last time we saw him, left his retreat outpost office, survival gear, and was headed somewhere to find somebody, James. So now he says Eric isn't eliminated, and here's another announcement that happened on night 9. He's not eliminated, but he has to face Hauser Odolak. So now that Odolak's gone, Eric is on the road traveling somewhere, who knows doing what. and who's going to do it too. So Eric is not eliminated. B and Brian Blair had moved on to the second round. We thought Eric was out. The rules have been changed again. And now Eric, good for him. I'd rather have Eric on my side than against me. I'd go back to back with you all day, Murder Hornet. And that's a shoot, brother. So Eric Heron is back in and will be facing Hauser Odalak. That's the news. Now, I don't know if Eric got that news. I don't think he did. So it's going to be interesting to see if he finds right guard James, one of the judges, national sponsor. Be careful, Eric. You're back in the tournament. Take out Odalak, and who knows what could happen. Direct your energy the right way. Stop overreacting and get the job done, as you were, sir. So we move on to, finally, we get on to, of all the twists and turns and things and technical difficulties and ups and downs, it's been quite the entertaining show and a lot of happenings. We go on to the Winner's Circle debut with David Holliday, who I don't know where he is, but he's sitting poolside and there's candles and lights and an unbelievable setup to have a talk show on your own show. Really, really classy by one David Hatz Holliday, who's in the second round. And now look, debut of the Winner's Circle. So we were all trying to figure out in questions in the comments to the fans who the guest would be, but who knew? Nobody knew. But the guest is, and he upset somebody huge in the first round. Rich Masadi, who upset Duke the Dumpster Drosy from Road to Recovery every Friday night at 6 o'clock. And then, of course, taking out the track and Konichiwa bitches. Duke Drosy was taken out by his longtime old rival, Rich Masadi. And Masadi, who advanced to the second round, is now on the Winner's Circle. Talk about getting the rub. This is what happens when you compete and you step up and you're talented. You win the first round. You could be in the Winner's Circle, get your own show. Who knows what could happen? This is the rub you get from people when you're in this kind of competition. You go from being low man on a totem pole to being recognized, and now people see you wherever you go. Now you're in the main event, Winner's Circle. Who's better than you, Rich Masadi? I'll say it's well-deserved because I didn't think you had a snowball's chance in hell. Again, let's not get any spittle. Snowball's chance of hell of competing with Duke Drosy. One of the most intelligent men I've ever met, and I've met him personally. So you got lucky, Rich. Soak it up and enjoy it now, homeboy. Enjoy it now. Let me take a little break here before we get on. Did you hear that crack? Did you hear my spine crack? Because I did. Stand by, please. No dead air. It's not like the green room. There's no dead air here. It's just on purpose. Ice black coffee. Nothing better. Especially here on a Sunday. I'm going to get this up and upload this. So we go on to, thanks for being here. I appreciate all you. We're going to try to keep this at an hour. We go on to poolside and in Rich Masadi in the Winner's Circle with David Holliday. Now, this starts off friendly. It really does. It's a big kumbaya and all this different thing, complimenting each other, how great they are, and surprised, and kissing each other's ass, so to speak. I don't know if it was genuine or not, or from the heart, but it turned ugly really quick. And it got personal. And David, I don't know if he's jealous or not, but he started attacking Rich Masadi. It really was insanity. It went from this beautiful conversation, poolside chat, a la the old days of Johnny Carson and David Letterman and just old school TV, and really enjoyable, to turning very personal and very ugly. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. Both these men have moved on to the second round, but Holliday asked some very poignant and very, very personal questions, and I don't know what that was all about, but it got ugly on the debut of the Winner's Circle. Who knows what's going to happen? You know, David hit him hard talking about sobriety and his father with Rich and all different things like that. Not only was it personal and a shoot just about in that Duke-Rich first-round matchups, now here with David, there's something going on with these two, and so that was the debut, and there was a lot of heat at that one time. If these two guys could have got through the camera and got at each other, I think they would have went. I really do. So that's what you got on the debut of the Winner's Circle. So it's an interesting segment. We'll see what happens going on. What is this? The Piper's Pit of the Green Room. So we're going to have to see what's going on here with David Holliday and the future winners, including Rich Masadi on the winner's circle. So we go on to the main event of the evening. Here it is, fans. You've been waiting for this, the main event of the evening. You know this is a cat fight. I say it all the time, whether it was the ladies and the legendary actresses back on Knots Landing in Dallas, or whether it be the actresses on the soap operas like General Hospital and Days of Our Lives and different things like that, or whether it be like in wrestling like Baby Doll and Missy Hyatt or Precious or Beulah and so on and so forth, and Francine and ECW Extreme. This has really gotten personal, gotten over the top, crossed the line. The Queen of Serene, Miranda, and the Queen of Mean, Maria. People have gone missing. No one has found Johnny. There's been a lot of head games, a lot of accusations, a lot of dirt, and a lot of stuff that you shouldn't air your dirty laundry in public. But again, the unbelievable videos and montages that are put together by Avi that open up, and each individual person gets their cup of coffee in 15 minutes of fame. Every matchup, every montage individually made. Kudos again. I'm just going to say that to say this. It's unbelievable. Now, this is tied 1-1. Now, remember, James is lurking about as a judge. Pete from Sharpie, they're there. They're going to be in on the challenges, role-playing, different things that happen here. Tied 1-1 in the cat fight of the green room. And let's roll on here. We're 50 minutes in. Let's see what we can do here and make some magic. Maybe we'll go over an hour. Somebody give me those muscle relaxers. Well, they're prescribed. I don't have a choice. What do you want me to do? So we get on to the main event, Miranda Maria. Here's the first challenge. It's a promo challenge. Avi Klein always pulling something out of the box. The promos to Miranda and Maria. The first promo from Miranda is, tell Maria all the qualities that you admire about her. I'll give Miranda credit. She came up with some very nice and complimentary things that she had to say about Maria, and I'm surprised she could even see her in a decent light. And maybe where this is Miranda's too serene and too soft after what she has done to you and the accusations that she's made for you that have affected you personally, professionally, and every other way. But I'll give Miranda credit. She took the high road and she actually complimented the Queen of Mean, or as Miranda has said before, she actually complimented that bitch. That's right. She said it. You see how excited I get. That's right. She called her a bitch. Now what? So Maria has to, in turn, her promo is, tell Miranda all the qualities you admire about her. And you know what Maria did. She, in turn, and gave her backhanded compliments. And if there was a compliment, was followed by an insult, or if she complimented her for being a loser, or complimented her for being no good or a fraud. So there was nothing redeeming about that. Maria certainly is out for blood, and she has no use for anyone. And Miranda took a different tack, so you can see why it's the Queen of Serene and the Queen of Mean, and what has happened, and why it's the main event, I believe. The first all-female event in history of Green Room. So this is groundbreaking. You talk about the WWE and the Divas movement and the women's movement in wrestling. Well, this is it here on the Green Room. So we go on and we continue with Maria and Miranda, the grudge match of the night. The next promo from Avi goes out to Miranda, and it's, why are you a fan of Sammy? And in turn, Maria has to, on her second challenge here in the promos, what would you do to Miranda's body parts? Those are the two questions for the promos. Now, again, Miranda took the high road. She's a more serene person. Maybe she's more confident, more together, doesn't have to throw and make accusations, but she broke it down on why she's a fan of Sammy, and actually, once again, complimented her, and maybe this is the problem, and why Johnny's nowhere to be found. Johnny boy, where are you? Are you with Maria? In turn, Maria became very graphic, kind of like myself and Pinocchio Joe when we describe and what we're going to do. She's talking about her body parts and limbs and tying her up and what she torture and whatever she was going to do to her and tickle her feet with feathers. I don't know what she was going to do with her, but she was very serious and very graphic at that point. So we go on to the next challenge of improv. And it's called, Avi comes up with and calls it, I'll give him credit, and he calls it the Serene Room Challenge. This is the next challenge, and it's improv between Miranda and Maria. I'm giving you the good, the bad, the ugly. It's not word for word. This is opinions where I saw it, where it was reported to and got back to me. The Serene Room Challenge. Scene number 1 for Maria. She's portraying Miranda searching for Johnny. And Miranda's scene one is she's portraying Maria driving through McDonald's as she's threatening someone. Yes, these are the promos, and I'll give both ladies who are not actresses, not professionally trained. They both did a pretty good job. You could feel the intensity. They almost can't concentrate on these challenges, on what's going on in their personal life and what they're up to. You could see that they're distracted. You could see they can barely concentrate on this. Maria may act like she's all cocky and arrogant and doing the old chicken neck and trying to get however you try to get Maria. She could be however she wants. And Maria and Miranda laughing and giggling, so serene. You could feel the tension, and that neither one of these ladies, no matter how they were trying to portray themselves on the camera, both were apprehensive and nervous and distracted and maybe off in someplace else. So they go back and forth on the different things of the scene, portraying each other. And then we go to the first votes on the promos and debate challenge. Pete votes for Miranda. James votes for Maria. This is the promo challenge that we go back to. Now the fans vote. Now Avi hasn't voted. He hasn't gotten in. He wants to put it to the fans, and that's why I always say to you how important the interactive chat is and to be there live, because all your live votes matter. Every night the green room is on. So Avi goes to the fans after I said James votes for Maria, Pete votes for Miranda, and now the fans, the votes start pouring in, and I'll be honest, Maria got a few votes. Miranda slaughtered her. It was 3-1. For every one Maria vote, Miranda got 3. So if you went by just the fans, Miranda has captured the fans' heart and Maria has turned them off for whatever reason. And that's what the vote's for. And that was the first promo. Those were the challenges and the fans vote. And now Miranda is up 1-0. The series is tied 1-0. But for these purposes, on night 9, in the challenges, Miranda is up 1-0 in the promo challenge. We go on to the next challenge. Maria is analyzing Miranda, who opens up about her problems, but she's doing it while screaming. In turn, the next thing for Miranda, the second challenge, is she has to ask Maria to open up about Sammy while sneezing. So I don't know where this has gone, but I'll say it again. Maria is analyzing Miranda, okay, who's opening up about her problems. Now, Maria's supposed to be screaming. I'm going to say that to say this. I'm just going to put it out there. The good, the bad, the ugly. She never screamed. I never heard Maria scream once in there. So she should have been disqualified and not voted right to begin with because she didn't follow the direction. That's just me. She was very monotone when she was supposed to be screaming. Did you listen to the challenge? In turn, Miranda's portraying Maria and asking about Sammy. That's right, Sammy Green, Sammy Doyle, just Sammy, who skedaddled earlier. You notice a lot of craziness going on, right? You know that. There's some connection between all these ladies. In turn, while Miranda is doing that, we hear in the background, ding, 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 knock, 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 knock. Now, I wasn't sure where it was coming from. Jay texted me. He wasn't sure where it's coming from. You see Maria and Miranda on screen. So apparently it's coming from Maria. There's a knock at her door. She gets up out of the chair, goes to answer the door, which it should have been locked, and I wouldn't answer it if I'm on air live anyway, but she did it. She got up and went to answer the door, and what happened from there, I don't know what the hell happened. But she was floundering like a tuna that had been pulled out of the boat, out of the Pacific Ocean, all over the place, off against the wall, against some dude that had his hair slicked back like Wolfman Jack that weighed about 300 pounds. She's going back and forth with him. She actually got bitch slapped, paintbrush thrown around like a wet doll, like a rag doll, a noodle. Whoever that person was, she was much larger and stronger, and I'll give Maria credit. She's a tough lady. She got her licks in. She threw some punches and kicks. I don't know if she was the worst for wear because she definitely went down like a ton of bricks. But I'll give her credit. In the couple of scenes where they were on and off camera, she held her own. In the end, Maria was off camera. I don't know what happened to her. No one knows. She was nowhere to be found. She fought her way out or she's left there unconscious because as Avi went back after that, there was some huge-looking dude, or I don't know, maybe it was a big woman. Whoever they were known. They were mobile, agile, hostile, nimble, and they looked like they did a number on Maria, who maybe finally got what was coming to her. You want to, play with the sword, sometimes you get cut. So that's what happened there. Totally shocked. Live attack on TV. Lock your doors. You know what happened to me. You've seen what's happened now. This is no game. This is no shtick. This is no shoot. People are taking this serious, this competition. This is bread on the table. This is real. This is livelihood. This is for your family. Remember that. And that's what's happening here. And you saw what happened. Again, I still can't believe what happens here on the Green Room Live. In turn, the confusion was unbelievable between Pete, James, Avi. Miranda was still on screen. Okay. Whoever the thug was mentioned Sammy Green or me, it's just Sammy Doyle, whatever. There's a history there between families and kids and Sammy and Maria, and who knows what else is going on, and who knows why Sammy left that matchup and left in a hurry. And maybe this is what happened. Maybe they went to meet up. Maybe they're meeting somewhere right now and it's going down, because we don't know. The bottom line is that's how it ended. Avi off screen, and Miranda moves on to the second round by default. So she may have not found Johnny. But the bottom line is Miranda has moved on to the second round by default. Maria is out, gone, finito. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. Na 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 na, na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. The Queen of Mean is gone. I don't know if she'll be back. You never know what could happen. It's like a soap opera. Unless you see the body, there's always a chance that somebody can come back. Remember that on the Green Room. So Miranda has moved on. What a night of twists and turns that night 9 was. We saw that people have moved on to the second round. Eric is back in. B. Brian Blair, Miranda, a lot of news and notes. Before we get out of here, and we're just about 1 hour because I want to get this up. I definitely want to... night 10, which is Saturday night, this Saturday night, July 17th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The tournament rolls on with night 10, round 1. Now, cards subject to change. This has been leaked to me. We know things are never 100%, and cards subject to change. Allegedly, the Jersey Boys, WWE, WCW tough guy, tough enough, Hugh Morris, and that's from Face Value every Tuesday night at 5:30 p.m. on the network. Bill DeMott goes up against his longtime buddy, and that would be Crowbar. That series is tied 1-1. Super assistant Alex and the Spitfire herself and this whole Amor Love Tristan triangle, Dahlia Jubilee. Alex and Dahlia will be facing off. Remember, that series is 1-1. Eric Heron, just recently back into the tournament, will face off against that enigma that I call the geek and the freak in one Hauser Odalak. Who knows what else could be happening? There's going to be the drawing at the top of the show to see who's being brought in. There's going to be 2 before the main event that may be announced. That's the rumors. That's the script. That's the storyline. People will be coming back on night 10. And of course, my history-making 4th matchup against that son of a bitch, Pinocchio Joe. You're not coming out alive. What else could happen? The Winner's Circle, take 2 will be on again. Let's see who Hats Holiday, Mr. Main Event, can come up for the Winner's Circle. I hope it goes a little bit better than it did on night 9. So the Winner's Circle is back. What's going to happen with Mindy and the Music Man tied at 1-1? What about Sammy and Preston Present, who are now tied at 1-1? What about Howard Collado and R.G. James, who are now tied 1-1? Let's not forget Michael Winslow from Police Academy fame and Andrew Casase of Revenge of the Nerds fame. They're still in the first round. There's a lot of moving and changing parts. You have to stay tuned. You have to pay attention for the local announcements to be announced, to be determined. That's how you find out. Besides coming here on Chaos Corner. What other notes do I have here? Other notes do I have before we get out of here? Again, this Saturday night live, the 17th, the Guardian of Chaos returns to the green room. Those that have advanced to the second round, before we get out of here, I want to make sure. I believe there's been at least 20 competitors that have advanced to the second round besides those elimination matchups moving forward. David Holliday, Rich Masadi, Glacier Ray Lloyd, Ken Patera, Mark Henry, Rock Richards, John Amos, Rick Barry, Brian Clark, Fred Ottman, Stephen Lee, Davis Jubilee, Tommy Davidson, Gangrel, Stephen Tobolowski, Pastor Andy McDaniel, Todd Bridges, Sally Kirkland, B. Brian Blair, and now Miranda. If I'm not mistaken, those are the folks that have moved on to the second round. And pretty soon, you'll be able to say the Guardian of Chaos in the second round. I will not let this go, Joe. Yeah, I'm all over hurt, and I'm still scheduled for tests and things this week, and I don't know what's going to happen move forward. But you're not going to win this. You're not going to get by me. I will do whatever it takes to get into the second round. Thanks for being here, fans. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you watched it to the end. This was the review of Night 9, Round 1 of the Green Room Tournament. This Saturday night, the 17th of July, 2021, is Night 10, Round 1 of the tournament. You're not going to want to miss it. Huge announcements, special stars, TV, film, movies, sports, pro wrestling, entertainment, theater. If that isn't enough motivation and inspiration, I don't know what to tell you. I do know this, though. I am the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy. I do tell it like it is, and I'll say that to say this. Don't you dare miss it.